What's going on, boys? Super excited to be here in the garage again. And just as promised, here it is Monday, we're making our video. And I want to explain a couple of things, okay? Something that was kind of on my mind, and it's this idea that, I feel like I'm squeezing time, okay? I'm super exhausted right now. I woke up early, went to work, went to the gym, and then went to the store, okay? And then driving around, this, that, and the other, traffic. And it wears you out over time, right? And so what I want to focus on this video is controlling what you can control and letting go of everything else. And to me, that's been such a massive, I don't want to say a mantra, but it's been like one of the biggest overall themes of my life is just letting things go and that it's okay. And sure, some things are disappointing in life, but that's just the way things are, right? And so we're gonna go over a couple examples in my life that this has happened. Maybe you guys can relate a little bit. But first, I want to talk a little bit about this Stoic philosopher guy named Epictetus. And basically, he was around in the 2nd century and was basically telling us the same thing, that, hey, we need to just let go of things that we can't control, but the things that we can control, such as our responses to things that happen, our actions, how we feel in that moment, and the list goes on. This is the kind of stuff that they were talking about way back when. And so it's just kind of cool to see that some things just never change. And even though we are all different, okay, I don't see another one of me walking around out there. Even though we're all different, we're all have similar stories, all similarities. We all still have, 2 eyes and all that kind of stuff. So it's just interesting, human psychology. So we're gonna get into a couple examples here. First of all, I want to say that, let's go back to that Air Force example. Okay, what about it? So first of all, I let it go. Okay, not only did I bring God along for the whole ride, and I intentionally wanted him to close the door if it wasn't for me multiple times. Okay, the first time I wasn't sure, and that's the thing. You're just gonna give up on the first shot? No. But then you have to say, what peace do I have in this decision? And right now, I don't really have a peace about going and doing it again. Okay, because I told God, I said, look, if this is the way, let it happen. If not, put it in my heart not to do it anymore. And this is the peace I have right now. Could that change by next year? Maybe. But the way the feedback was pretty indicative that hey, just go apply somewhere else. And I don't feel like doing that because I don't have a peace about that. And so what did I do? I let it go. So the controlling of I got a perfect Air Force score. I got a perfect pilot score. I did the best on the interview. Nobody did better than me. I just literally thought outside of the box. And it still didn't make me get the job, right? So there was nothing I could do in that moment. And because, again, that I brought him along for the ride, and I didn't just go off and do all this on my own because I felt like it and I'm entitled, I had a peace. When he said no, I was like, that's fine. Because I already told God, I said, look, I'm not gonna be mad at you. It's gonna be great, either way. And that was so relieving and stress-free. And guys, I don't know if any of you know me personally. I know some of you do, but the cortisol level just brought it down massively in that moment, because I'm a person, I don't like stress, okay? If I'm stressed out, it's gonna be a bad day. Guess what stress does? It creates wrinkles, it creates all kinds of sleep problems, which leads to disease. And guys, we're trying to optimize our health here. We're trying to optimize our sleep patterns, our gym, our fitness, and to get out of the stuck rat race that we feel when we go to work every day and say, hey, I wanna be healthy for my family. I wanna be healthy for my kids. I wanna set and lead as an example and a man in my family, okay? And this is what we have to do. And so when we let things go, sure, disappointing, but it is what it is. Another example would be my college, okay? I graduated over 5 years ago now, but I wanna tell you guys this. My freshman year in 2014, so that's now 11 years ago, I'll tell you what, I certainly didn't feel like I deserved to even be there. I did mechanical engineering. One of the hardest things, I remember being in 5th grade thinking, hey, why is that guy doing 10 pages on one math problem when in 5th grade we were doing times sheets? What's 5 times 5, 5 times 6? That's the kind of math we were doing. And then I see that my 5th grade teacher's son doing this calculus crazy stuff. I'm like, there's no way, I'm not smart enough for that. And so what ends up happening, I end up doing the stuff that I thought wasn't even good at. And that first year, I was so like used to getting A's and B's in classes in high school that like if I failed a quiz, I would literally tell the teacher, hey, I'm not gonna mess up again. Like, don't expect me to mess up on the test what I just messed up on this quiz during your like quiz corrections. And sure enough, I would make sure, because I had said that and written it down, that hey, I went in and made it correct on the test. And that was awesome. And so then when I went into college and I was in the Air Force, ROTC, and all this other stuff, I didn't have enough time to just do what it is I know I used to do, and it was just sit down and study. And it wasn't even that. It was the hardest part. The hardest part was learning how to do the homework and then learning how to do the test, because the test didn't look like anything you ever studied. And it was the most frustrating thing. And I thought about quitting so many times. And I thought I needed A's, I needed 4.0s. You know, I was like, I'm not gonna have some of this student loan figured out, you know, if I don't do this. And I let it go. Guys, I'm dead serious. Like, I literally just let my GPA go, and not in a way where it was like, oh, I'm just gonna get F's. I let go of the idea that I needed to get all A's and kill myself literally trying to get all these high scores when I couldn't, literally couldn't. And so one of the biggest things was just saying, you know what, if I get a C, hey, at least I passed. And I know that I put my best foot forward, my best effort forward. And so if other people don't see that, it's not my thing. You know, I know that I put in my best effort, and I know that it built my character up to who I am today. And so that's another great example of just, hey, just let things go. You know, give it your best effort, bring God along for the ride, and then after that, it's okay. Guys, we're only here for such a short time. It's crazy, you know. Average lifespan's like what, 70, 75, something like that. And you spend your first 20 years in school, and then you have a good run between your 20s, 30s, and 40s, and maybe even 50s, hopefully, if you're in good health. And then what? You're done. And so making a lasting effort and impact and just not worrying about a lot of different things is gonna just make your quality of life so much higher. Less disease. Why do you think like these guys in like the blues, the blue zones, have such great health? You know, really, they're just out there in their communities. And you know, one of the guys who actually died recently, who was like my work grandfather, I asked him, what is the secret to having such great health? Because this guy was like in his 80s, almost 90s, still going to work, still like parking a mile away and walking in. And he was like, just take one step in front of the other, get your exercise in and everything else, and you're gonna be just fine. And I was like, okay, you know, and that the simple things in life are what matter. Baby shampoo for your hair, carrots for your eyes. It was like the craziest, like, oh, wow, why didn't I think of that? You know, in a world where it's like so fast paced, but not just fast paced here in America, it's also, you know, trying to complicate things. Why do we need all these products in our shampoo? It's just to clean the hair. You know, and I start to think about these things, I'm like, a minimalist life, things that are easy, is gonna be good, you know what I mean? And so, I don't know, I just wanted to talk a little bit about letting things go, guys, a little bit of my story. And when things don't work out, it's okay. It probably happened for a reason. And just trust that, and to keep moving forward, and to keep asking God for direction, because He will give it to you. And maybe not right then in the moment, but the people you meet, the circumstances that happen, I used to think that was by chance, and I just don't know anymore. I don't think it is by chance. And so, you know, I always try to look at the bright side of things. My girl, I always tell her, hey, everything always works out. You know, even in the midst of chaos, at the very end, it always works out. Whether that's we're late for something, or we went to the wrong area. Like there was one time I went to this wrong spot in Austin, and you know, we can control what we can control. I'm gonna grab the Uber to go to the other spot. Sure, we wasted $40 and all this, and we went to the wrong place, and we weren't organized. Cool. It's no big deal. Remain calm, you know what I mean? And then when we did that, what happened? We actually got front row seats at the place. They like brought us right up to the front, and everything always works out. And I always tell her this because she always stresses out a little bit, and it's okay. But, you know, I think as a man, for me personally, I like to be the rock. And what is the rock? Somebody who's strong, somebody who's confident, somebody who doesn't just freak out at the smallest little thing and is all up in their emotions. It's not a bad thing for a man to be in their emotions. However, in the midst of chaos, you have to be that anchor into the ground when the wind is blowing high a lot, you know. And I think that's just one of the biggest things that I've learned, is that I don't have my parents to sit here and rely on anymore. This place is something I've created out of my own thinking, out of God's will, and out of being very blessed, you know, and a lot of hard work. And so, guys, I just want to explain this to you real quick. I know I'm talking kind of slow and everything else. I don't know. I just wanted to come on here and talk just a little bit. I know it's been a while, and I'm just kind of getting back into the groove of these videos. We're obviously doing a lot more on Instagram. Guys, if you want to follow me over there, go check it out. And also on the shorts here on YouTube as well. So I appreciate each and every one of you boys. I know a lot of you guys are going through stuff. Keep it up. Okay, keep up the hustle. I'm here for you as well. So we're all in this together. Take care. In a world full of fakeness and deception, keep dominating your realities, becoming the best version you can. And I'm here all along for you guys. If you need any questions, put them down below. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what your experience is on just letting go. Just letting it go. All right, boys. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.